White on set, please. Second team, please.
Camera ready. First team, please.
Roll camera.
Roll sound.
Sound rolling.
Camera rolling.
Mark,
Ouch! Hey, watch it.
the old clapperboard, take one.
Playback.
And action.
Howdy, and welcome to a special presentation by the old clapperboard.
This sign appeared, okay? An actual museum, for Lone Pine film history. And the museum, as it has evolved, the names have been changed a little bit more because of the expansion of it. But all of a sudden they said, well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna need some help. We're gonna need some money here, okay? And the story is, and this is your guy. This is your guy right here.
Sorry, we have to go
Good
choice. Take you on a tour. Good, thank you.
It wouldn't have happened without Jim Rogers. It just wouldn't, okay? He was well, hold on that picture if you would for that. Jim was a super Western movie enthusiast and a great collector. As you go through the museum, you'll see a lot of the stuff. We've probably changed over half of his stuff that he's on loan from his collection. And he came up, saw what was going on, said, and he said, "You guys need some cars for the parade?" And we said, yeah, sure, we always need cars for the parade, So he said, okay. So the following year, he shows up with about a dozen classic cars. He had one of the, and still does, I think the family does, one of the largest classic car collections in the country, So he brought a bunch of these, Cadillacs and all that sort of, and he became enamored with Lone Pine and the possibilities. He's the 12th largest philanthropist in the United States. So he had some money. Sunbelt Broadcasting, was it? Sunbelt Broadcasting.
Nevada.
And a few other things. Anyway, so he said, look, guys, let's do this. So he got together with Dave Holland and a bunch of other people and said, let's build this museum. Let's do it. Because there isn't one a museum and it should be. So he had a dream, Dave had a dream, the town had a dream, well, kind of, put it all together. He said, okay, if you guys can buy the land, I'll build the building. And so I think he did that because he knew we were going to be able to buy the land. But because this is Department of Water and Power land here, they have never in the history of the DWP sold a piece of land to a private entity. Okay, ever. Ever. So through a lot of politicking and that sort of stuff, they said, okay, we'll do it. You guys, so they gave us a price, and we said, okay, now we got to find the money. Okay, and we went to you. We went to you folks, and a lot of other people. And remember those plastic boots we used to have and all that stuff? Yeah, and those are coming back, incidentally. So be ready. Be ready. And through all the donations and that, we got enough money to buy the land. And it was a big deal. It was a big deal. Everybody was watching what was happening here because the DWP said, well, hey, if they'll do it for them, maybe they'll do it for us. And the DWP said flat, no. This is a one-off, baby. It ain't going to happen, so don't waste your time, okay? Because they knew, because Jim had a lot of influence too, and politically. I mean, he was a big-time donor and all the rest of that sort of stuff. He had a media company and all that, so he really factored everything into this. And so next thing you know, here we are. We got the money. He said, okay, I'll pony up. Let's build a building. Okay? And so one of the funnest things we did, I think the next shot coming up is the actual groundbreaking. Okay? So there's an artist misconception of what we do. That's what I call those.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. But
We could
so
all
Dave Holland was very much involved with the design and all of the things that were going on. It was, and you plan and you think and all the rest of that stuff, and then the practicality hits in of what you can do with the funds you have, et cetera, et cetera. And some of these things never go away. The amphitheater behind is what we're after with this new expansion that we're going to start doing it. We want that amphitheater behind there because there's so many things we can do. All right, we're going to hold on this for a minute. Okay, guess where this is? Can anybody figure it out? Yeah. And that road going back there to the Tesla and your ticket office back there. Yeah. All right. This is the corner of the parking lot out here. There's the highway. Yeah.
That's a great shot.
Yeah.
You want the pointer?
Huh?
You want the
No, that's okay. They can see that. So that's it. So I said, okay, there's the spot. Let's see what happens here.
Wow, that's cool.
You mean you cut down a tree? Oh. And here we are at the groundbreaking. So that's Jim Rogers and his
Beverly.
and Beverly, and then underneath the canopy there's a bunch of our celebrities that were here for that, and we had, I think there's 4 of those shovels there. We have 2 of them, but I don't know where the other 2 are. So I'm thinking, those 2 are in the museum here, and would anybody like to own one of those? I've got a sneaky suspicion we're going to auction one of those off tomorrow night, or maybe even tonight. We might do that. But they were signed by all the dignitaries that were here, up and down the handles and everything. All like you saw, Peggy Stewart and all the rest of that, and pretty cool. Now something's coming out here that's going to be really interesting. That it's real mystery. Now these were all of the people who were involved with the actual construction and the local politicos here, okay? Town council people, city council people, anytime they're going to have a media deal like this, they're going to make sure. Now that thing that they got right down on the ground, that's a time capsule. And they're digging a hole and go that time capsule in there. Are they okay back there? I'm fine. All right, so here's the deal. I can't find anybody who knows where they buried that thing. I've asked everybody. I even asked the people who were there, and they said, I don't know. I don't think they actually buried it right there where we were. And so somewhere on this property is a 35-year-old time capsule that no one seems to know where they are. And I'm hoping that when we build the addition, that we don't bury it again. I'm thinking maybe it's underneath those Tesla chargers back there or something. I really don't know. And I'm trying. The only person I have not talked to was Beverly Vanderwall, who was, you'll see a picture of her in here, was here that day. They have since moved out of the area, but who knows, because I want to know what's in there, because it's a pretty substantial deal, as you can see.
Larry, my guess is they buried it back here for the extension.
Yeah.
And when they dig for the extension back here, maybe we'll find it.
Maybe so. Let's hope, Hope we don't find bones.
I don't think it was milk.
All right, we can go on.
Larry, excuse me, how much money do you need? How much money do you need?
All you got. No,
How much money do you have?
Good. That's a good question. The reason it's an excellent question. She asked me how much money do we need? We don't know yet. We are in the permit process right now, and that's happening. Okay, and so it's probably going to be another I don't know, maybe a month to 6 weeks before we actually come up with, because that mock-up out there, obviously, it may come out that way, it may not. We're still there. We're still in the planning stages on it, so we don't have an actual budget. And when we do, what we'll do is we'll put a big thermometer out there and start it in. But I would have to say we're probably looking at 2.5 mil, somewhere in there. Somewhere in there, to do the extension, do it right, do all the rest of that stuff. And that's a swag. You know what a swag is? Scientific wild-ass guess.
There are, from my understanding, there are phases.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Melody knows more than I do about it, because
I got
I
nothing.
just found, it was a surprise to us that they were going to display this model out here.
Yeah.
And I guess it has an amphitheater and a restaurant. And I think once it's built, it's going to bring a lot of people to Lone Pine. I mean, not a lot, we hope not a lot of people, because we don't want to ruin Lone Pine. But it will be the major business here in Lone Pine. I think it looks beautiful, and I think it is a fabulous idea. And of course, we can hold the whole film festival here when that happens, so we don't have to go to other places. But anyway.
So this picture right here, that was that day. That's Dorothy Bonifant. She was the film festival director at that time. Sitting behind her there, that's Peter Brown. You remember Peter Brown from Lawman and that sort of stuff. And it's a nice picture because up in that corner up there, that's Carrie Powell, who started the whole Megillah, and she was pretty proud to do that. And for those of you who have been around for a while, you'll see yourself in some of these pictures now. And there's the gal way up there in that far corner up there. She used to be one of our bus drivers for Mammoth Mountain. She's been a good friend, Johnny. Who's the ladies that she's pointing to? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But I'm trying to figure out who she's blocking her with her hand, but nobody can tell me who that person is. You'll see another better picture of her, I think. But yeah. Yeah.
There she is. Got
I
nothing.
don't know. Okay.
That's Jackie.
I don't think that's Jackie. I think
Standing
that's,
talking.
huh?
Standing talking. Not that.
I thought it was bad. I thought it was Beverly. Could be. Anyway, all right. So that's the fun of us. What we were doing is trying to pick out pictures, and we had hundreds of them, literally, and trying to pick out the ones that would go. So we're sitting there going, "Who is that? Who is that?"
Larry, what year was the groundbreaking? 2004.
What was that?
2004.
2004, yeah. So that's Ben Cooper, and he's signing one of the handles. Ben was a guest of ours 4 or 5 times, and cool guy. Cool guy. Johnny Guitar, remember that movie? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
old Western. But he was Mr. Cool. Tried to get him a real cowboy hat. He wouldn't buy it. All right, so here we are. There it is, bigger than Dallas. That's the skeletal structure, right? So we said, okay, we got it. Let's use it. Okay. So once this was up, and the county gave us the go-ahead on it, you can see the yellow sign in there. It said, if you have any money, call this number. So what we did is we had our first dinner inside the museum. This was the first activity. Yep.
Anybody here?
Was anybody here for that? Anyway, yeah.
Anybody?
You guys, you guys, I know you were here. Yeah, absolutely. Ralph and Sandy Thies, they were here. I know you've been to what? 29, 30 of these? Pretty darn close. Yeah, pretty darn close. Yeah. That's A.C. Lyles. He had one job in his entire life. He was working for Paramount Studios, and he ended up being the studio executive and president of Paramount Pictures. He was a good friend to the Lone Pine Film Festival. Great good friend. And he was just as happy about this museum as we were, because it really solidified his legacy.
There's the trailer that lives in the back. I was looking for a picture of it out front, and nobody could produce a picture of it out front with the sign. So, but I found my trailer, so I'm happy now.
That trailer is where you go back there now to pick up your tickets. We just moved it back there. And if what that trailer serves for, it's our archives. We have literally thousands of photos stored back there. We need some place to bring this stuff out, I love this shot. This is a classic Don Kelson shot right here. This is getting there. You notice there's no mural on the side of the building or anything. It's just hop along Cassidy Lane. And then it starts to evolve.
Dirt parking lot.
This is going about as slow as the museum I'm going to build.
There we go. Ba-dum. So you can see the mural on the side of the building, which is being redone right now. And John Knowlton, a local, very, very fine artist, was in charge of that mural and hired a bunch of local artists. Each one took a panel, and John supervised all that going. And there we are. So it was originally called the Beverly and Jim Rogers Museum, Lone Pine Museum, and then it evolved into what we have today, which is the Lone Pine Museum of Western Film History.
Larry, who painted the mural on the side?
Well, you can see right below each panel, there's a designation of who painted each panel, but John Knowlton was the one who supervised the whole thing, and he's a very prominent Western artist. And,
is there anybody here that helped paint the mural? No?
As you can see, there's Roy and Gene and Scenes from Gungadin and Tremors.
I have a side note.
On a side note, when you all go through the drive-through at McDonald's, he painted the side of McDonald's drive-through too, and you'll see his name on the bottom.
Larry, if groundbreaking was 2004, when did it open?
Six.
2006.
Six.
Those are Jackie's dogs.
So this right here is opening day of the museum, and that's Chris Langley, who was a film festival director for a few years also. And you'll see a lot of the things in the museum that say from the Langley collection. He was a fantastic collector. In fact, I think a lot of these posters in here are his, especially the ones that are from foreign. He loved collecting the movie posters from outside the country. So people know Lone Pine. I did for many years. I'd come in a day or two early and go through all the schools and make sure the kids knew that they lived in some place really famous, that there were going to be a lot of people coming here. And the kids would because they didn't know. They go, really? I said, yeah, people are coming from all over the world to come to Lone Pine, where you live, And those two guys right there, those were the real movers and shakers on the finishing up of the museum and giving us some guidance for the next year. That's Bob Sigmund and Kerry Paul. And hold on that picture for a moment. This gal, how many people here do not know who this is? Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
good.
Oh, that's good.
Good.
This is Jackie Hickman. Jackie owned, her and Art owned Boulder Creek RV park down the way. And Jackie was into everything. She's on the fair board. She's on the museum board. She's on the this and then she's on the that. No. That's her husband Art, who just celebrated his 90th birthday.
Jokingly, we used to call her the mayor of Lone Pine.
Yeah, she is. She is a mover and a shaker, and it's her, without her guidance on a lot of things, she's a very smart lady also, and without her guidance on a lot of things, some of the things that you guys are, having the pleasure of doing would not be happening without Jackie Hickman, believe me. And she's bi-coastal now. She lives in North Carolina and here, there, and half and half. And Jackie, we thank you so much. Yeah. So, out of this, the spin-off, we're always, we're always looking for ways to go. We're a nonprofit,